when you got both ingredients, that makes a beautiful
Wait,
cake.
what about the chin? I also have a chin.
You have a chin. That's right, you have a
What
chin
about the
as well.
chin?
You have a chin
Let's
as well.
include the chin into that. My characteristics of my attributes is unmatched.
What do you want, Bilal? I feel like we all three of us on this side kind of know what we want for you, which is ultimately really to earn some money out of this sport that you've been doing since you were knee high. What do you want next? Like, what's your plan for the next 12 months?
I want help. I want someone to help me, genuinely help me, and not just condemn me because I'm 37 years old. I need help.
You need opportunity.
I need opportunity. I'm Imagine running a race and you have 10 laps, right? And you've run 9 laps. I have this 10 laps of my life remain, and this is my last lap. I need help. I need opportunity. And the thing is, when you put me in a stage or in a ring, I entertain. I make sure that you enjoy what I'm performing. People message me and said, Bilal, I've watched boxing for a while, and this is by far the best fight I've seen in a long, long time. And not just one person. That's one part. I also have a good chin. I'm also relentless. I'm also marketable. I'm a brand. You put me in a suit or any brand or any kind of company. I am.
Stop using ChatGPT and Canva like children's toys. Here's how to use them right.
Good to represent them.
So yeah, what's up, guys? How's everyone doing? I just wanted to start there. That really showcases, the paradox in boxing. That's Bilal Fawaz. He's coming off his biggest win of his career. We know his story. If you don't know Bilal Fawaz's story, you can either watch my breakdown that I did of his last fight. He's the kid that we took. He was plus 345 dog. It was a rematch. He went in and performed spectacular. For him to be that authentic and honest and vulnerable on that world stage, saying that, he's doing the media, they're talking about his fight style, and then and shout out to the host, asks him, what do you want? And he just said, I want somebody to help me. I mean, Jesus Christ, that really speaks to me, man. I used to work for a leadership company in Las Vegas, Nevada. I just finished grad school, and it was basically a program that we would sell and teach to corporates. So corporates would hire us, and we would take them through these levels of leadership. And it would take, a year and a half to get your master's in that. One of the first keys of leadership and personal development is it's okay to ask for help. You rarely ever see a fighter, an athlete, a man that vulnerable. I want somebody to help me. It's so powerful, and in a blood sport where people, you find boxing as a way out. Generally, you find, but there are instances where, Darius Fulgham is an instance just off the top of my mind because I'm doing his tape and he's fighting this weekend. And Fulgham, I think he has a bachelor's in applied science. I think he might be, he works in the medical field. So you do have instances where the sweet science just kind of, comes to certain fighters. But for the most part, you find boxing as a way out. And for a guy like Bilal Fawaz, he's begging. Hopefully, Frank Warren, Matchroom, somebody gives Turkey Al Sheikh. I'm cheering for him. He definitely has my support. And if I had the money and the means to help him, I would. I just want to start there. I thought that's a powerful story. I think it's a positive story. And we've covered Bilal on the channel before. And so you guys know who he is. Other than that, we're off and running. I want to say what's up to everybody. Breaking Bad in the house. We got a big next 4 days going up, man. It's Thursday morning here. It's my first live stream of the day. Excuse me. I'm going to be going live again today. I'm going to be uploading Virgil Ortiz versus Erickson Lubin right after this live stream. If you haven't checked my breakdown of Tiger Johnson versus Nick Flaz, that's on the channel. And then I uploaded also Jazzy Parr versus May Solomon. That's on the channel. And we could talk about, we got the Australia fights tomorrow, and then we got the fights in Florida. We got the fights in Texas. There's a lot of fights, believe it or not. The betting apps have opened up the odds for a lot of other fights. So I'm now, with that being said, I'm going to open up the stage for you guys, and we can start taking your questions. Flaz, MMA boxing. Flaz, love this guy's story. I know, man. And then you think about what he's been through, and then also the visa issues and how he was this close from fighting, representing the UK in the Olympics, and he couldn't get a visa. And then even though he had lived in the UK since the early 2000s, Frank Warren, I think in 2014, offered him a $200,000 contract, which he wasn't allowed to accept because he didn't have a bank account. And now fast forward a decade, he's 36, 37 years old, and he's still performing at the highest level. Super authentic, marketable, charismatic. I like his fight style. And he's just it's a feel-good story in boxing, and hopefully things go his way. It's a career ruiner in the military or as a Leo. Hopefully one day that changes. Let's do it. Let's do it, Adu. I'm doing tape. I've been doing tape on. I'm waiting for it to go official, but I've been doing tape on Murtazaev because I'm fingers crossed it becomes official. Murtazaev versus Kelly. And Troy Williamson also just announced a new he has a fight coming up. He's fighting for, I think, a British Commonwealth strap. And if you watch the Troy Williamson versus Joshua Kelly fight, towards the end of the fight, Kelly's on the ropes and Troy misses, and Kelly's like in the middle of a fight. He's a savage. Bricks, Flaz Stevens. Oh my guy. Look at my boy Bricks going dog hunting. He's going dog hunting. I told you those we'll get to let's talk about Flaz right now. Flaz and Tiger. We'll pull up those odds real quick. And this is about right. Yeah. Nick Nick is now the underdog barely. But look, it's going to depend on your bankroll. It's going to depend how greedy you get. It's going to depend a little bit of luck. And what I'm talking about is how you make money on this fight, how you go about making money on this fight, and what options you take. Now, for me, I'm not a greedy guy. Money line either side is good enough for me. You guys know I'm going with Tiger Johnson. Nick Flaz is a dog. I love watching Nick Flaz fight. He's on a great run. He hasn't lost. Stopped a couple years ago against Janelson Boca Chica. Janelson could crack. We know that. And we know Tiger Johnson's coming off a victory over Janelson Boca Chica. Make what you will of that. It's worth mentioning. You have to bring it up. If you're going to bring up Nick Flaz gets stopped and it doesn't, it was a first round kind of fluky stoppage, that's fine. Nick Flaz, fun fighter, doesn't throw enough of volume for me. I saw somebody breaking his tape down. They said that he has good head movement. I'm like, what tape are we watching? I don't see that. The tape I watch of Nick is doesn't really care about his head movement. I wish that he would throw a bit more volume. Now what's going to happen? It's going to be interesting. This is a 10-rounder. Tiger does throw more volume, but I hear the whisper saying that if this fight goes late into the 8th, 9th, 10th round, that's where Tiger will start to fade. I don't know. I don't see that. I definitely don't see that happening. I see Tiger Johnson's class, his accuracy. I love Tiger's 1-2. I like his backhand counter. I like how he fights off the back foot. And I don't like how Nick comes in on sort of straight angles. I don't like how Nick sometimes doesn't move his head. He's very offensive minded. He's fun to watch. I don't think Nick is on Tiger's level. I got to be honest with you. I think Tiger maybe I just rate Tiger too high. I told you guys in my breakdown. I rate Tiger exactly. I rate Tiger how you guys rated Hitchens before Hitchens beat George. So I think Tiger Johnson is a future world champion. I think he has all the skills and attributes. I think he has the physicality. I think he has the size. I think he has the skills. I think he has the fight IQ. What's lacking in Tiger, I feel, is what was lacking in Richardson, and that's a confidence issue. That's being able to punch with your opponent, have faith in your power. He executes game plans well. He does all the little things. You could see an Olympian when you watch Tiger Johnson box. There's a reason why, his camp, they fully believe. He did leave his coach, though. I mentioned it in my breakdown. Pernice Brewer is no longer coaching Tiger. I don't even know if that stuff was made public. I learned that through my guy. Shout out to Marcus, Ohio Runs Boxing. But that's my take on Tiger. I think the money, and back to my point, I think the money, I like $1.98. It's a 50-50 fight. It's exactly what it should be. That's enough for me. But if somebody were to like, you look at the method of victory, why not put $100 on Tiger by stoppage? I'm not saying I'm not going to do that. I could see a path to victory, Tiger stopping Nick. That's all I'm saying. I think the wiser pick would be Tiger on points though. But Tiger on points at 235, Tiger on the money line at $1.98. Those are kind of what I'm rolling with. But you're tempting me with 925. You are. You know what I'm saying? This will be his third fight at 147. He stops Kendo Castaneda in his first fight at 147. If you're just going to go to Kendo's box rec and just look at what 6-7 losses in a row, you're not really getting the full picture of Kendo Castaneda. Follow him on Instagram. He's a tough kid. Not a lot of people had Tiger stopping him. And then I already told Janelson Pogachica, the scorecards. I was on Gary's live stream. He kind of forced me to rewatch it. I still had Tiger winning by at least 4 rounds. He won a decision there. My point is, he's getting used to 47. He fought at 40. He's a big guy at 40. He's 5'11". He's going to be the bigger guy on fight night. With Nick running in on shots and not throwing a lot, and Tiger's accuracy, I expect, and maybe this is just the hope I have with Tiger Johnson. This is Tiger's first main event. I expect the best version. I expect him to show up and show out and see a version that a lot of people are going to be surprised with. So why not, if I'm that high on Tiger, why not sprinkle something on the stoppage? We've seen Nick's chin get tested before. Nick's chin has been cracked before, and it's not like we haven't seen that happen before. So it's not the safest bet, but we've hit in this exact situation. Shushu Carrington, I hit him at a plus 700 in his last fight. And during my breakdown, you guys said I was crazy to take him by decision. And I gave you guys a path to victory. I was like, I could see Carrington going for an early stoppage in the first few rounds, not getting it, and then just kind of coming to terms with a decision. Got him at like plus 7, that hit. Same thing with Richardson versus George. I'm only referencing these points is because as of late, that's how my deductive reasoning goes, and those are receipts. People are going to say I sound crazy taking, sprinkling Tiger to stop Nick. I'm not saying that's the safest bet. I'm saying if you want to be a cowboy about it, there is a path to victory for that prop to hit. That's all I'm saying. Bricks. Now we could get to, if Bricks initially brought up Nick and Tiger, and he's going Nick, so I'll give him his due diligence, and we could go to Darius and Stevens real quick. Stevens is a real pro. I don't like these odds, so I'm not disagreeing with Brick. I'm not going to say Stevens beats Darius Fulgham. I don't think I'm betting on this fight, though. Yeah, look, we all have our own systems in how we bet, right? We all have our own superstitions in how we bet. I don't like betting on a guy that I won money on his last fight with him losing, and he's coming off a loss. So I broke down, I debated why Bektemir Melikuziev would beat Darius Fulgham, and it was a barn burner until I think the last round when Bektemir got a knockdown, and that kind of swayed the judges. And I'm pretty sure that fight was in Texas. It might have been in Mexico. I don't remember. Don't judge me on the locale of that fight. But I know Darius is a Texas fighter, and I only reference was it in Texas because there's people say it's hard to beat Texas fighters in Texas. But Bektemir, I broke that fight down. I took Bektemir. It was a 50-50 fight. He won that fight. Moving forward, I generally don't like betting on fighters coming off losses, especially their last fight when I bet them to lose. So, and I don't like these odds. I mean, 4-1 dog on Stevens. Why not take him? That's not my pick. I'm not playing this fight. I'm not breaking this. I'm probably not breaking this fight down. So $1.20 on Fulgham, 100 on Fulgham gets you your money back plus $20. That's not enticing for me. So maybe there's something juicier on and so to Brick's point, why not sprinkle? Brick's the one who's going to look like a genius if Nick beats Tiger and Stevens beats Fulgham. So I don't think that's a crazy 2-leg for Brick. Am I playing it? No. But odds base, a lot of guys win a lot of money on odds. It's just not the way I go. Running my platform the way I do it, I don't think people would come back as often as they do if I would just do videos based on odds. But I definitely don't like them here. I think David Stevens, what is he? 28-2. I mean, he's a real pro. Let's see David Stevens real quick. I'm pretty sure we were I was going to tapes that I was it was on my maybe tape list. And then yeah, 15-2. I mean, he's a real pro, guys. Like 10 knockouts he could crack. 25 years old, got that young energy, dude. This ain't a bad shout, Brick. I'm not saying I'm taking it, but this ain't a bad shout. 15-2, 25. He's the one coming off of a win. They both fought Bektemir Melikuziev, and they both have L's against Bektemir Melikuziev. Wow. One of the judges gave Stevens 116, 112. These scorecards are insane. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I watched this fight. Maybe I know the chat. We got a really educated chat out here, so I know some of you boys watched this fight. Talk to me about this scorecards, and if anybody wants to come on right now, any of the Johnny Says Boxing Insiders, I put the link in the Discord. You could pop in right now. Brick, you're an insider. Do you want to come on and sell us on David Stevens? Did anyone watch this fight? One of the judges gave 116, 112. And then look at those two for Bektemir, super wide. 118, 110, 117, 111. Interesting. Either way, they both have losses. Stevens and Fulgham have losses to Bektemir. This kid's only 25 years old, man. I think Breaking Bad, where you at? Do you know what fight you will call live next? Yeah. So I'm going live. I'm going to do the Australian card, guys. You guys are probably going to be in bed, but we'll go to I'll show you. So tomorrow night, my Friday night, your Friday morning, we have the card in Melbourne. Sam Labruna Promotions, headlined by Bala versus Vorbev. So I'm going to do, you know what? I'll schedule this in, guys. I'll do a live stream reminder. Make sure you guys hit notifications. May Solomon, it looks like the first fight on the main card. This is streaming on DAZN worldwide. So I'm going to have it streaming here on my flat screen, and I'll be live streaming it. So we got May Solomon versus Parr. That looks like it's going to start at 8 p.m. my time. So let me check 8 p.m. in Sydney. What is it in New York? So 8 p.m. my time is, yeah, you guys are just going to be getting up. 8 p.m. in Sydney is 4 a.m. on the East Coast. And that's 1 a.m. on the West Coast, if I'm right, if I have that right. I've been out of America for 13 years. So, but by the main event, which will be late for me because I'm an old head, so probably by 11 p.m. when Bala fights Vorbev, it'll be your 7 a.m. So we'll see. The Aussies, you know, I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it to represent Queens. She was raised out in Brooklyn. Brick, everyone's sleeping on Stevens. He's gonna stop. Dude, Brick, man. Brick might have just talked me into dog hunting. Are we dog hunting? Odds on DF. Yeah, it make you crazy. Odds on DFG getting worse. So it's hard for me on Mankey's point and on Brick's point to find value in DFG. I mean, DFG has a fan base. People like him, and you know he got a little bit of a following. I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze for me to play that. I got to be honest with you. I'm gonna take Mankey's questions about Australia. Who's the A side? So the A side, and I went over this yesterday on the live stream. So here's generally the rule of thumb, and this comes down to strictly when the promoters upload their card into BoxRec's algorithm. I only know this because for a couple fights I managed a fighter out of Bondi Boxing named Lynn Sandstrom. I've talked about it before. It was a horrible experience for me personally, but I digress. I had to get to understand and know BoxRec's behind the scenes, how it works. You know, you have to apply for a profile, and then you have to upload. So any fighter on here with a resume, Their people have uploaded those fights, and then I think by now BoxRec should have an algorithm with the scorecards. I'm not sure if the fighter has to do it manually. I don't. I wouldn't think so. But I'll show you. I'll show you my point to answer Mankey Crazy's question about the A side. So when you go to BoxRec, go to, you see how the highlighted. So go to event right here. So you have event, bout, and Wikipedia. The promoter is Sam Labrulia. So Sam Labruna, SLB Fight Night. The way he uploaded this, on the left side of the card will be the A side. So Stephanie Cutting's the A side, Fatih's the A side, May Solomon's the A side, Ball is the A side, Connor Hall, Mateus. Take, you know, and some guys, and this is a relevant question. So for those, you know, maybe not aware with Mankey's question, it's very relevant for the bettors. It's very relevant for, dare I say, deductive reasoning. If we're adding a little bit of conspiracy theory to our picks, you got to I mentioned Texas judges. You guys know about Top Rank for sure. If you don't know about Top Rank, what I'm referring to, I mean, there's when Top Rank has their cards, the A side. I think we did a stat on one of our lives. I think the A side on Top Rank over the last 12 months was almost 98%. So it's a very relevant question, and BoxRec tends to do that. What's up, boys? Guys, when you're tapping in, can we like this video? I'm just catching up to all the chat. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, join the Discord. I'll bring the Discord up in a second. That link is pinned in the comment section below. It's a couple bucks a month. The Discord's popping. Guys, congrats. We just broke 260 VIPs in there. This is our 13th week, 260 VIPs. Couple bucks a month gets you in the door. Shout out to Boxing Fans. Shout out to Mankey. Shout out to Bricks. All the boys are in there. On the live chat, you see the colored stars. Those boys are VIPs. And guys, anybody who wants to come in on the live chat right now, you could come in and talk. So we answered that question. Ortiz versus Lubin is my 100%. So Heaven Sent, what's up, buddy? I totally agree. I'm uploading my breakdown and prediction right after this live stream. It was a fun one to do tape. I'm a fan of both guys. Big shout out. What's the sentiment this weekend? I'm gonna take some questions now. What's the sentiment this weekend? We going to confidence? So I told you guys, and I think that Mankey asked me in the Discord, and I can address it here. He asked me, I think you were referring to, Mankey, why I wasn't betting on. So I'm coming at it from, like, I don't bet on every single fight. Okay, so I gave you guys my 4 winners in Australia: Mariah Turner, Jazzy Parr, Munir Fatih, and then I'm kind of torn on Bala and Vorobev. I watched both tapes again. Vorbev's a younger guy. Bala, he's like 35, 36 years old. He got some class to him. And I told the boys on the live stream that I'm only playing 2 fights. So that's just my style. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to bet on every single fight because there's fights on. So on my parlay, my 2-leg parlay for Australia, on the money line, I have Jasmine Parr and then Munir Fatih. Those are my 2 plays. But Mariah Turner as well. You know what? I'm very confident. I think Mariah, I told you guys why. I broke Mariah Turner down yesterday on my live stream. Classy fighter. She comes from a pro combat sports pedigree. If you guys are kickboxers, you'll know Mariah Turner. She's a savage. Stephanie Lee Cutting, she's the sort of like optic pick. She, she ticks the boxes and she's marketable, good personality, decent class to her, but she's really green. I think she's kind of tailor-made for Mariah. But on my heavy money picks, like, I guess I'll start calling them my bankroll picks. If I'm going to bankroll 2 fights, and there's a risk to it. I think Jazzy and May is a 50-50 fight. Like I told you, if you go to my Instagram, May follows me, Jazzy doesn't. So it's not like I'm friends with Jazzy. I know May way more than I know Jasmine. But when I break the tape down, I can't just pick I say it all the time. Bet with your wallet, not with your heart. My heart's with May. I hope May wins. She can win. She's a dog. I just don't think she's going to have the class. Jazzy Parr is legit as hell. When you watch her box, if you've never seen Jazzy fight, from a technical standpoint, everything she does, her aggression, her output, her defensive, capability, it's all there. I mean, she comes from the pedigree. Her father is a living legend. Her mother was a pro, an ISKA champion, Angie Rivera. So Angie Rivera, North American ISKA champion, marries an Aussie, Wayne Parr, one of the greatest Muay Thai fighters of all time, and they have a kid, and their kid is Jasmine Parr. Jasmine Parr grew up in the gym. She's been doing some form of combat sports since she could crawl. You can find footage of her in a gi crawling. She's had Muay Thai fights in Thailand. So at 22, what she's learning to do is sit down on her power shots. I have to keep reiterating that. I brought that up on my breakdown. I brought it up on Gary's live stream yesterday. When you watch the difference between Muay Thai fighters and boxers, Muay Thai fighters, they don't hit hard. If I'm boxing a Muay Thai fighter in Western boxing rules, his hands aren't going to be good because it's not to say he can't punch, but in Muay Thai rules, he has to defend kicks. He can't be flat in his feet. He can't sit down on shots like boxers can. That's the biggest difference. So for Jazzy to come from that background and learning how to sit down on her shots with boxing, her power is going to evolve throughout her career. Neither lady has a great resume, but I mean, Jasmine Parr, in my opinion, watch the Shannon O'Connell fight. Jazzy fought O'Connell when Jazzy, I think, was 20 years old. Shannon O'Connell is a legit, world level fighter. Shannon O'Connell beat Shernika Johnson. Shernika Johnson is the undisputed champion. So my point is, like 50-50, it is a 50-50. I think the odds don't say that. I think the odds have May as a 2-1 dog. Damn, these odds of May's a 3-1 dog now. See, I think that's a bit unfair. I think this is a legit 50-50 fight. So if you're dog hunting, take May. I'm not. I don't see Jazz losing this fight. I don't think May's a 3-1 dog though. So hopefully I answered some of your questions. I'm going to answer some of your questions again. Boxing fan, I made my money for the year's membership in one parlay joining the Discord using the NBA channel. Hit that shit. Yeah, let's see. We have 3 different levels of membership if we're doing quick maths. I think we'll just say it's $5 a month, maybe it's $6 a month. $5 a month, 12 times 5, $60 a year. I mean, I don't like breaking it down that way because the value in joining isn't that. You know what the value is. That community, boy. Boxing Wiz, what's crack-a-lack, and what platforms do I mainly bet? So when I'm putting my boxing parlays together, remember I live in Sydney, Australia. I'm using for boxing Bet365 because the draw doesn't torch you. Sports bet, which you're seeing here on my screen, the draw in boxing torches you. The reason why I use it during my lives is because I've had it since 2013. I'm more comfortable with its navigation process. But when I'm putting my parlays in for boxing, I use Bet365 due to the draw. Everything else, I use sports bet. Moving. Yeah, I hit you boys asked me on the spot for an NBA. I got some NBA action today too. See, I'm a prop bet NBA guy. So I don't do with NBA and NFL, I never do money lines. I'm always doing like props, rush yards, pass yards in football, tackles, and then in basketball, points, rebounds, assists, the main categories. I've been hitting with the 3-pointers too. Shout out to who hit me, who won big just last night. I picked him to hit 2 threes at 4-1, and he hit 3. But basketball, it just, you can't get too greedy. You can't gambling. If you're not having fun betting on the sports, man, don't do it. I never tell anybody to come to get rich. I started this because the love of the game for boxing. This is my channel is just one long receipt of my passion for boxing, and over that receipt since I started my channel, I've met some really cool guys and we're building a really cool community. So I'm not one of these guys that's going to say come to my Discord to become a millionaire. That's not why we do it. People make thousands though there. I know people bet thousands and they win, and the receipts are there. The community is why I do it. So I'm going to take more questions. Pedro Cabrales, do we know if Flaz versus Johnson is for an eliminator? We could check real quick. Let's check real quick. I didn't. I think I would have known. I'm not sure. Here we go. Ask Pedro, and thou shalt receive. Yes, the boxing match between Nicholas Flaz and Delonte Tiger Johnson is a title eliminator. It is scheduled to be the main event on Pro Box November 7th, 2025. Who guy do you recommend as a good capper in the NBA channel? Boxing fan, you want to help my homie? You want to help Big Shadow out? Big Shadow, we could do this together, guys. We'll do this together, Big Shadow. All right, guys, I am going to remove the veil for the non-VIPs so they could see what the Discord looks like. And for Big Shadow, we'll do this together. So if you're new to my channel, I run my own fitness and coaching businesses. I have an online coaching business. I have a private strength and conditioning studio downstairs to invite only. I reference that because I'm a teacher and coach first. I'm also a writer, so I'm a published author. You can buy my books. The reason I reference that is when I get questions like this and they're educational questions, we get to do them together. I like questions like this. All right, here we go. So what I'm going to do for Big Shadow is we're going to go to the NBA channel, and then we're just going to have a look, right? Okay. And boxing fan, you said you were the one winning money. So let's see. That's a good come up. I see Lit the Casual in here a lot. Breaking Bad's in every channel. Breaking Bad's at me. Breaking Bad will pop into the NHL channel. So what I'm doing is just trying to find a ticket. Here we go. Alex is out here hitting. So what I would do then, Big Shadow, is I would do your due diligence. I would go into the channel and I would do what we're doing, scrolling and seeing and you kind of see, Alex, you kind of see the sort of like main players. Yesterday, shout out to I think LDR. He came on the live stream and he's in the soccer channel. The boys eat in all channels. So as you can tell, Alex seems like he's had a good run as of late. We'll get back to boxing in a second. Gil's in there. So yeah, I would just I would go in there yourself. So we have an NHL channel, which I'm never going. Gil, I think Gil's my moderator. Shout out to Gil. Gil always racks up in NHL. So if you want to pop in there, talk to Gil. He has the NHL on lock. Soccer. So one of the boys from the soccer, KDR, he's an animal. He came on our live yesterday and he was teaching us. So if you guys are soccer fans, so it's not, as you know, it's not just boxing. I started it just for boxing, and the boys asking thou shalt receive. Look, KDR is always hitting. So if you guys want soccer, it's there for you. My bread and butter is boxing and MMA. And then what you guys also get is my picks. So I have my picks separated as well. So if you guys are in the Discord and didn't know, we won the Melbourne Cup too, boys. Let's go. If you're in the Discord and didn't know, this is how you navigate. The tabs are here. And, you know, everything from my picks to the boys' bet slips. So Luis, shout out to Luis hitting. Shout out to Old Timer. Shout out to Kiza. Kiza's always hitting. Ty, always hitting. Oh, I guess I hit here. Oh, yeah, that's that NFL parlay I did on the spot. Shout out to Ty for shouting me out. And there we go, guys. I'm going to go back to the odds real quick because we still got some stuff to talk about. And I want to catch up with the chat. I want to say shout out to Sniper Boxing. Sniper Boxing just signed up. He is a new member. So Sniper, to get access to the Discord, all you have to do is go to my YouTube channel on the interface of our YouTube channel. You now have access to members posts. So I have it behind a paywall on YouTube. You join on YouTube, and then you get access to the Discord. And if you have any questions, just message me, and you'll be all good, still good. You're welcome, Pedro. Ooh, this is a good fight. Akitsugi. We'll get to that in a second. Astrolabia. Good fights. Andres Bansalon. Game fixing. It is. The fixing in UFC is crazy. So, guys, I'm doing my follow-up story. On the UFC betting scandal. This shit goes so deep. There was an article released today about just alone in the Bulgarian fight, $15 million for the Bulgarian fight, dude. Like an obscure sort of grappling contender level fight. $15 million was coming in. And the feds told the UFC about it, and the UFC didn't act. You mix that with, they also released a list of Dan Herzog, very famed referee. If you watch the UFC, whenever you see main events or pay-per-view events, and listen to how like John Anik and Joe Rogan and DC, all the commentators, when they reference Herzog, they talk about Herzog as being like a god, a demigod, right? He's super well respected. Well, behind the scenes, the FBI was putting together a list of 100 fights over the last few years that Herzog has reffed with suspicious odds and suspicious endings. So this is a developing story. I'm going to release part 2 of my little side hustle of keeping you up to date on what's happening here. So shout out to Andresa for the question. Muscles, Big Shadow, Alex, our IB channel. Okay, here we go. Alex and our IB channel is the smartest, I believe. There you go. So you're getting some value here, guys. We're about 40 minutes in. I'm gonna turn a little bit to talk about. So does anyone have any other questions on Australia? This goes down tomorrow. We'll put it together. Here's what I like. I like Jazzy. I like Fatih. I think Mariah Turner is the best value if I had to be honest with you. If I was betting 10,000 on one fight, 10,000 on Mariah gets you 4,700 back. In terms of and Munir, if I had to give you a lock, which I don't believe in, I don't think there's locks ever. Resendez versus Caleb Plant, Elber Bader Gaziev versus Jazza Dickens, Frankie Rod versus Galal Yafai. I don't believe in locks. But if I had to give you, I think Munir Fatih, even though Andrew Hunt's undefeated, I told you guys on my live stream, write Munir Fatih's name down. I was at his last fight. He fought on the undercard of Cesar Vaca and Sam Goodman in Sydney here, and he had a cheering section. I remember saying it to my stream. I was like, holy shit. There's a few local fighters that I've seen with, like, Darren Gala. Darren Gala Truhella is another one with a cheering section. These boys got cheering sections. And Munir Fatih stopped Wade Ryan that night. And Wade Ryan is a guy who has a win over Sergey Vorobev, who's actually main eventing. And you know what? Kamir Bala, this is why. Okay. I forgot I did do tape. I just didn't upload it. Sometimes I watch too many fights. Somebody asked me Kamir Bala versus Vorobev. Watch the Kamir Bala versus Jin Sasaki fight. Jin Sasaki had fought him before he fought Brian Norman Jr. And they were going back and forth. It was a good fight until it wasn't a good fight. It was an even fight. Even on the cards, it was pretty even until Sasaki stopped him. So Bala's $1.77, Vorbev's $2.20. So yeah. Mariah Turner, Fatih, Par, Bala. If I had to pick 4. No one's even brought up Virgil or Lubin. Is that because everybody is just already convinced Lubin loses? Who are your favorites in the East? We talking basketball? I got one team, Pedro. Pedro, when you come to this channel, I gotta learn you real quick, Pedro. When you come to this channel, there's only one team in the NBA. There's only one team in the NFL. There's only one team in Major League Baseball. There's only one team in college football. I want you to know that. So who's my favorites in the East? Who is my favorite in the East? There's one team in the NBA, and that is the Cleveland Cavaliers. In football, the Cleveland Browns. In baseball, Cleveland. In football, in college football, the Ohio State University. Just so if you didn't know, Cleveland, the Sea Hat. Think about back in the day when there was 89, Little Brother on the Ground, Bone Thugs and Harmony. We from the land, baby. Still good. We from the land. We still confident in Tiger. Oh yeah, I'm confident in Tiger, Ryan. Nothing's changing. You know, where do you guys think Tiger's from? Still good. Who do you think's going to the Super Bowl? This is the fun bit of the chat. I'll leave it open to you guys, but you know, I'm gonna take some of the questions from everyone, and if anything goes back to the gambling side of things, I'll answer those as well. Who's going to the Super Bowl, man? I don't know, man. You know, the NFL with injuries. We just saw what happened to, Jaden. The NFL's brutal, man. One injury could change the entire trajectory of what's going to happen in the postseason. So I know who's not going to the Super Bowl, the Browns. So you're talking to a Cleveland Browns fan. It's tough for us to even fathom what does Super Bowl mean. Playoffs? We talking about playoffs? We just trying to win a game. So, what do you mean? I said I didn't. They're one of my. You said you. I never said that. I said I didn't like it. You crazy? You better bring that up. You better come. You better bring some receipts for me saying I didn't like Bone. When I heard the word curse, I said, "Oh my Lord!" Laying on the curb, and I then do 20 blended to the half. And what about Loning Dale? Damn, she gonna whack the fool out of the 2C2 she do. What about Wally? He lost his cool. Sipping on murder, sipping on Vassar. What if I said I lost it all? What if I said I missed my dog? What are you talking about, dude? Said I didn't like Bone Thugs. I think he's trolling. Yeah, I'm betting on Tiger too. Shoot him up, away. The Great White Hype soundtrack. You guys ever see that? East 1990. Think about back in the day. I know, dude. That's y'all want to scrap. Say I don't like Bone one more time. Say I don't like. How heavy are we going on Tiger? We're back to betting. Let's try it. I'm not gonna look. I miss my Uncle Charles. And I miss my Uncle Charles, y'all. He shouldn't be gone in front of his home. What the game to do is wrong. Oh, wrong. Gotta hold on when the day come. Better believe Bone got a shoulder you can lean on. Lean on. That. Charles. That. You heard what I said. Okay, let's share the how heavy are we going on Tiger? It's a 50-50 fight as of now. I think it's really cut down the middle now. Yeah. It's probably going to stay here too. 199, 198. I mean, 1,000 gets you your money back. Put a little stack on Tiger. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not going to put 1,000 on Tiger. I don't bet. I'm not. That's not. I like if. How heavy are we going? I'm putting him on a parlay. But, come fight night, if those odds flop and Nick's hit $1.70, this is full transparency. Full transparency. What I'm waiting for to give you guys my underdog are those odds to keep going down, because that's what I think is going to happen. I think in another 48 hours, Nick is going to probably be $1.75, maybe $1.80, and Tiger will probably be a $2.10, maybe $2.20. I think money will be coming in on Nick, and then I'll take Tiger. I mean, I'm already taking Tiger, but then Tiger becomes a dog. But big dogs of the week, I think we talked about David C. I think David is a live dog, man. And I was saying that kind of behind closed doors before our boy brought him up. Right, this fight right here. you know, when you mix in Fulgham coming off a loss, when you mix in, you know, David Stevens 25 years old, I think Stevens is live here. I do, man. I think these odds are wide. You know, they both fought Bektimir Melikuziev. One of the judges in Stevens' fight versus Bektimir gave it to Stevens. And Fulgham, you know, very, very fun fight. He fought well. I wasn't a fan of Fulgham until that fight. So watching him fight with that much spirit and having to answer all the calls that Bektimir was making him answer, and then he got dropped late. You know, I won money on Bektimir, but you know, I learned about Darius is there to win. We'll see though. His first loss right now on paper, that one looks kind of interesting to me, and I think that's all we're getting right now. But I mean, you guys, look. I think May's live. I think these odds are crazy. I think this is a 50-50 fight. And I told you guys this. I broke this down. You know I'm taking Jazzy. But May Solomon is tough, man. She's 27, got her old woman strength. You know what I mean by that? Jazzy's a kid. You look at Jazzy, she's still a kid. She's 22, but you know, May's gonna have the size advantage. She's fought at heavier weight classes. She's gonna have the power advantage. The thing is, so if you're dog hunting, May Solomon shouldn't be a 3-1 dog here. I thought this would be 50-50 on paper. I don't know how much of these odds have to do with the last name Parr in Australia being royalty. In combat sports, you say the last name Parr, you know, so I wonder how much of these odds, and I think, you know, the money coming in on Jazzy is right, but I wonder a fraction of that money coming in on her. I wonder why, if it's just because they see the last name, and that's why May's such a big dog. So, I mean, I don't. I think that's a wise dog play. Am I going to do it? No, because I gave you my prediction. So, well, I'm catching up to the chat, guys. Give me a second. Yeah, moving. You think I'm lying? Google. I'm about to say something. Look, this is. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it because I was about to say something real corny. But yeah, I grew up in a town grimier than Cleveland. Google Youngstown, Ohio. My whole family still lives there. I'm the one who got away. I'm the only one who left. My grandparents, cousins, salt of the earth people. I love where I come from. I love Youngstown, Ohio. I go home once a year, man. I love Northeast Ohio. I'm a loyalist. I left though in 2001 when I was 19 and never moved back. I think so too, DJ. I'm gonna take some questions out. I think Tiger's a level above, man. I got a lot of time for Tiger. But it's all the little things that there's no stats for. You know what I mean? Like what Tiger does really well. It's all the little things that there's no stats for. Foot feints, head feints, all these little tiny things. Vision too, good vision. You said Chilltown is taking Flaz. Okay, so I think Chilltown knows this. As of late, I don't talk to Chilltown. If Chilltown, he's on. You know, shout out to TJ. He's my guy. He's in. I think he's in the DR for a wedding this week. I think he told you guys that. But lately, unless he comes on my live stream, which he's always invited, I won't talk to him during fight week. I don't like. I won't. I have a couple people for regionally. Tigers fighting, so I know a guy who's really in entrenched in the Ohio boxing scene. So I'll reach out to him. You know, if one of my guys, if like Virgil's fighting, one of my guys is deeply entrenched with RGBA. I've talked to him. So I have my own system. With TJ, I won't talk to him during fight week. I'll talk to him after the fights because I don't want to. I don't like being. I'm very. I have a lot of conviction for what I do. I put a lot of time in this, so and I know who I am as a man. And the reason why I reference this is you're not going to talk me into something. You're not going to talk me out of something. I don't want to talk anyone into anything. It's what I tell you boys all the time. Just because I'm picking somebody, I'm not telling you to listen to me. I never want anybody on here taking my picks just because I said it. That might sound crazy because I know this scene. I'm pretty sure people pay guys just for their picks. That's not what I offer, mate. If you guys think you're joining my Discord to get my picks, don't come. That's not what I'm telling you. I've never marketed my Discord for that. I've never said join my Discord to get my picks. No, I take a lot of pride in the effort in what I do. So when I have my picks, I don't want to convolute my knowledge with somebody else's. I'll bring him on to debate me, which is great. And a lot of times we do agree. So I don't know if he is taking Nick. If he is, then we disagree. And if he is taking Nick, I'd love for him to come on to debate me. But I hope Ohio takes this one too. Henry Williams, hope you're well. You got Virgil stopping Lubin. Look, guys, you guys heard me. I've made a case over the last few months for Eric. You've heard me say that. I talked about just now how I have sources that, I guess I could use the word rely. I rely on them to challenge me. You guys don't know them. I don't tell you their names. I never bring them on the channel. And I'm sure you guys have your guys. Like, there's guys that I talk to about boxing year round that will never come on my channel. They're like in their 50s. Some are probably my age. I have a few of them, maybe 4 to 5 guys who live one lives in Dubai, one lives in New York. My buddy in Columbus, one lives in Louisiana. My point is, I've been talking to my buddy a lot about Virgil and Lubin, and he's such a master. Like, for however smart we think we are in anything, like if I think I am the best astrophysicist in the world, there's going to be somebody who's better than me. And this, we know this. If I think I'm the best, English teacher, there's somebody who knows 6 languages when I only know 5. Right? And boxing's the same thing. So if you think that you know everything or you can't learn from somebody, it's the bad attitude to have. So if you didn't really know this about me, I go into everything like I don't know anything. So I am always open to learning. So one of my guys broke down Virgil versus Lubin for me over the phone, and we're talking, and I was selling, and we're debating at this point, and he was like, and I just brought up the Lubin versus Fedora fight. He goes, bro. He goes, and this is a shout out to him. He goes, bro, in your head, he was like, the way you just said that, it was like Eric got dropped in the second, Seb got dropped in the 7th. The fight gets stopped in the 9th due to damage. It was close on the cards. And he was like, in your head, you're saying like Eric, it was swaying towards Eric and he was going to win a decision. He was like, all of that might be true, but you're missing a very important tactical point when you're breaking Eric's fight style down and you're putting that style in a ring with Virgil. He was like, here's the point you're missing. He was like, Seb forced Eric to fight like that. He was like, Seb forced Eric to dig deep. Eric in the pocket like that. Eric wants to fight at mid-range. He was like, when you look at that and the comfortability of Lubin's game plan and how he kind of pot shots and sort of ones and dones and where he's comfortable. He's a dog, so he can dig deep if need be, but that's not his strength. He was like, Virgil's strength is going to force Eric to fight him in the wheelhouse. Virgil's hand speed, his body punching, his aggression on the front foot, his timing. So, the more I was looking into that, and to answer your question, I could see Virgil stopping Lubin. So Obi Perez says Flaz will do Tiger like he did Jahi Tucker. I go, Tiger will do Flaz like Hitchens did George. That's what I think is going to happen. And I mean, Jahi's fun, but you guys are acting like Jahi Tucker's, uh, you know, people, I don't know. That going into the Truck Simpson fight, that was a 50-50 fight. How do you guys rate Truck? He's still young. Truck's what, 24, 25? I like I'm not trying to hit Truck with strays. I'm a fan of both guys. I'm a fan of Jahai Tucker. But yeah, Jahai Tucker's a dog. He's young too though, man. Jahai Tucker's last performance, that version beats Tiger, I think. uh don't know, man. No stress. You know, it's a choice. The stress bit at a young age. You know, so I think stress kills us, boys. We gotta create lives for ourselves on a daily basis where we do our best to mitigate personal stress, social stress, financial stress, health stress. That should be our focus every single day, being aware of the consequences negatively of all of those stresses that cause to our mind, body, and spirit. It's true. So in my 20s, I was an animal. I was a stupid idiot. And then I made a choice when I was 30 to be aware of the stresses. And so I think there's always time. But if you think you need to make a change in your life, you need to start right now. Body language is a language I know better than my own English. I'm a body language guy too. This guy. V, I appreciate you. You know, the only people who I've been getting John Travolta my whole life by old ladies. Even when I was 20, I had a fro. Oh my God, V Barbarino. And they'd always be like, the girl I liked, her grandma. The girl I liked, I wouldn't be saying that. It'd be the girl I liked's grandma. Or like, I'm working at a bar and the table with hot girls, their mom would say I look like Travolta. No girls that I ever liked would say it. But yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. He was a G. What's a better card to you, Benavidez versus Yard or Roach versus Pitbull? Do we bring? Let's just bring him up real quick. We'll bring it up real quick. So we're gonna look at the David Benavidez card. Guys, there are some freaking good fights on this card, man. Holy shit. I can't wait for the Sam Noakes Abdullah Mason fight. Bam Rodriguez versus Puma. God damn. Brian Norman versus Haney. What are we talking about? We have Benavidez versus Yard. This card is freaking stacked. Vito's on it. Alakel. Sultan. They've been trying to sprinkle, Turkey's been trying to sprinkle his guys on it too. There's a couple little. Who did he sprinkle? He sprinkled a little prospect from I think he was from Qatar on one of the Riyadh cars. He had good game to him. I was like, all right, Turkey. Muhammad Alakel. Muhammad Alakar is a fun little guy to watch. But when you look how Sam Noakes versus Della, boy. Guys, I got to talk about this fight. I can't wait to break it down. I mean, I'm going to speak on it real quick. On Sam Noakes versus Abdullah. More so Abdullah. So, where's Abdullah from? Wait for it. Where's Abdullah from? Cleveland. You know Abdullah's my guy. You know I'm a big fan of Mason. This is what I want to bring up though. This is all I'm going to say. Was it Carlos Ornelas? No, it was Johan Vasquez. So in the Johan Vasquez fight, we know what happened. Mason was down twice in round 1. Vasquez down in rounds 1 and 2. It was a fun fight while it lasted. Here's my issue. Watch the Vasquez knockdowns. Watch how Abdullah got knocked down and why he got knocked down. Does anyone remember? I don't want to give everyone all the answers. Does anyone remember the sequence on when Vasquez dropped Abdullah Mason early on in that fight? He got dropped twice. He got dropped twice in round 1. Does anyone remember the sequence? I'll let the chat, I'll give you 10 seconds, then I'll get right into it. And this is why we'll pull the odds up after this. Why I'm a bit hesitant on this fight to jump the gun and just say he's going to wash Noakes. So when you watch the Vasquez fight, first round. Abdullah Mason shows his youth, runs in, and throws a naked rear uppercut, right? Doesn't set it. I was talking to my buddy about this just the other night. There's only a couple instances when you should ever throw a back uppercut, right? Especially at the high level. I'm not talking about in the streets. I'm not talking about, in the locker room or in a street, in a high level chess match. There's only a few times to ever throw a back uppercut. One of those times is off a combination, right? So I'm an orthodox fighter, combination, maybe a 3-6-3. Something like that. Or, a 6-3-2. One of my boxing coaches loved the 6-3-2 and then get under. So you put an uppercut, a back uppercut in a combo. The only other time is a counter. Here, boom, there. Think about what Lyndon Arthur was doing against Bradley Ray against the ropes. Perfect example of what I'm talking about. When Lyndon Arthur was turning those mid to later rounds, one of the big punches, especially the ones that were getting through, the eye-catching shots, was when Bradley Ray would move in with no head movement and miss, and Arthur would use the ropes and then catch him with that uppercut, and you would see Bradley Ray's neck snap back. Those are the only two times, in my opinion. This is what my coaches used to say. It's how I coach it. Back uppercut off a combo. Back uppercut off a counter. Abdullah Mason against Vasquez. The first knockdown. Here. He throws it naked. Here and gets checked and gets caught with the hook. Boom. And gets wobbled. The first time that happens, Abdullah, his coach, the announcers, me, you, we tell ourselves, wow, Mason just got dropped. That's a fluke. He made a technical mistake. He made a mistake a 20-year-old probably will make. He's on his feet. He's not going to do it again. He'll make the adjustment. Same exact round. He goes in and throws the same exact punch. It gets dropped again. Now, that worries me. Now, he hasn't been dropped since. He goes on to stop Vasquez. I'm just referring to that moment. You know what I'm saying? He beat Nakatia, or Nalos he beat, Jaimes he beat. He's great. He's one of my favorite fighters from Ohio. Come on. But when we're jumping the gun and just saying, dude, Sam Noakes is a dog, man. This is shout out to both young fellas. So have you guys watched Sam fight? Does anybody know about Sam Noakes? 17-0, 15 knockouts. We have an orthodox matchup versus Southpaw. 5'8". I think Della's 5'9", 5'2". Della will be the longer guy. Noakes 28 years old. Look at these stats, mate. For both guys. We know, this is a fire fight, dude. I'm so stoked about this fight. Been in there with some tough guys. Took Sylvester Zoe. Been in there with some veterans. I love that this fight is elevated for the world title. Dude, you guys are probably going to hear it from different channels. Oh, boxing's dead. Oh, what's happened to boxing? Boxing's dead. Fuck out of here. Boxing's dead, man. You miss me with all that. Anybody who says boxing's dead is a casual. Boxing is not dead. And Sam Noakes fighting Abdullah Mason is a microcosm of that. Not only the matchmaking, but the youthfulness, the undefeated records. What's at stake? Both young fellas trying to be world champions at 135. Abdullah having the opportunity to become the youngest world champion. I think he's a little bit younger than Xander. And, with that, in that same vein, before Xander beat Chino, who was the youngest world champion, Brian Norman Jr., he's defending his belt soon enough against Devin, who seems like Devin's 58 years old. He's only 26. Think about everything Dev has done in his career. He's been around forever. Dev's 58 years old. No, he's 26. Boxing's in good hands. We'll sing you a happy birthday then. We'll sing you a happy birthday, Mayweather. Sam can fight. I love the fight for both men. And you got to think, both undefeated records. Both guys have about what, a 90%. The knockout to win ratio is insane. Whoever loses, the rebuild isn't going to be that steep. You know what I'm saying? Like I think everybody could agree with that. If Sam loses, I don't think he'd be that far off again, depending on what his performance looks like. Same thing with Abdullah. Hey, I can't wait for it. Fingers crossed that it goes through. We have PTSD. We just saw what happened with the Gary Antoine Russell and Andy Hiroka card. So like I do have PTSD with being a lifelong boxing fan with fights that I've been excited about and then like a couple weeks before they fall through. So I tend not to get too excited. You got to kind of have that samurai mentality, that Buddhist monk mentality. Never get too high, never get too low. Stay right in the middle until fight night. And then those palms start getting sweaty. And you're like, oh shit, it's really going down, player. This shit's really going down, player. I don't see it with Devin either. He's skilled, don't get me wrong, but he's not what I've been sold by boxing. Pedro, I have Brian Norman beating Devin. I'm not agreeing. I'm not disagreeing. I'm going to meet you in the middle. I don't see with Devin either. He's skilled 100%. I think anyone would be ill-advised to say that he's not skilled. So we're there. But he's not what I've been sold by boxing talking heads. Okay, so now we have to identify, Pedro. What have you been sold? What are they saying that he is that you feel that he's not? Because the product of Devin Haney, for me, is 100% damaged psychologically. If that damage is unfixable, he's never going to be a world champion again. That's psychological damage. All of the other things, they're true. Hand speed, reaction, but we know those fade the older we get. I got to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of his feet. People say that he doesn't have great footwork. He's fast. Just because you have fast feet doesn't mean you have good feet. And this might sound controversial to people who maybe don't really understand the sport, but having good footwork is very layered. It doesn't just mean you use the entire ring. Like Josh Kelly, unique, really good footwork. Shakur Stevenson, really good footwork. They do things differently. But I mean, you look at a guy like a big puncher in the pocket who's able to count, look at Bud's footwork, how Bud goes. That's great feet. Somebody who's able to stand there and trade and slip and angle, that's great feet. So good feet doesn't just equate to fast feet, is my point. And when I look at Devin's feet, his footwork looks rushed a lot. He looks nervous. It looks twitchy. It's not fluid. You could tell when Devin was moving against Ramirez, that's not what he looks like in training camp. His feet in a ring, and that's the psychological bit, is what I'm talking about. You could tell when a guy is a bit twitchy, nervous, sort of reacting rather than being proactive in a fight. And now, granted, he was coming off the loss against Ryan, or he was coming off the fight against Ryan. YouTube censors me. I say loss, I get censored, channel gets taken down instantly. No, I mean the fight with Ryan, he didn't lose. And you watch the Ramirez fight, he uses the ring and he's capable of it because of his speed on it. He's fast, but it's not pretty. His feet aren't pretty. So yeah, it's interesting. I think so. I think so. Bill Cry, William Cry, Haney gets happy feet. Yeah, and that's that's the point, I think. Well, DC, I think the people look. You do have your true blues. We know how tribal boxing is. Tribal is boxing within tribes. It's not. We know how. Like, let's not get it twisted. People are. There's a lot of We know what we know what we get with boxing fan bases, right? A lot of the hate and a lot of the love on either side of any fight is going to be it's just the majority of people who really don't know the sport. But what I'm seeing with this Haney matchup are guys that you would think on paper know the sport, former fighters, guys who still train, guys who still fight. And a lot of times their perspective, if there's emotions invested in it, or if they have an ulterior motive, like maybe, they're trying to position themselves from a media perspective with wanting an interview, or from a fight camp perspective, maybe wanting a sparring deal no one talks about, or wanting to set up a fight and playing chess with a fighter with this guy maybe in the future. They're gonna script what they say. You know what I'm saying? So you always have to keep that in mind too, who you're listening to. And some guys just like to kind of make viral points, and what's the old saying, throwing shit against the wall, sometimes it sticks. Guys, I gotta run. My girl's gonna be so mad at me. I forgot I literally have to run. We've been on this for over an hour. I'm supposed to run a 5K with Chrissy. I got to get ready. I got to stretch. Guys, I'm going live again today. You guys are a blast. The time just got away. I'm usually not on this long. I'm uploading Virgil versus